there, I'm Sandy Allnock, Prima Ribbonista for May Arts. Welcome to another ribbon tutorial. Today I want to show you a technique for tying ribbon on a card, and this particular one I want to show you this double ribbon technique, and it has the little knot coming right through the image but in a way that doesn't add a lot of bulk to the card. So we're going to start with a few of the supplies. This is a 5.5 inch red card base, and I folded it using my score buddy to get a good crisp crease. Next layer is going to be a 5.25 inch black piece, and on top of that is going to go a 5-inch white one, and I've already run it through an embossing machine with this embossing folder from the Cuttlebug. It's an extra big one to cover that big space. The stamp is Cottage Rose by Stampendous, really beautiful stamp. And then we'll have a few other supplies we'll need, like a hole puncher and a pair of scissors, ink, etc. The wrinkle ribbon is on the right. There's two widths of it. This is the 1.5 inch, and the red ribbon is the brand new faux canvas, one of my favorite new ribbons that came out from May Arts recently. And I'm fussy cutting the image. It's already been colored, and that's in a separate video because this one's all about ribbon and the assembly of the card. But I am trimming it out with a little bit of white around it, which makes cutting an image with lots of tiny pieces like this a whole lot easier. And I'm going to be layering it on that white, so you're not going to see that there's all that white stuff left in the center of the rose. Now I'm going to use ATG tape to stick on the white piece onto the card base, and I recommend using good strong adhesive and a good amount of it when you're using anything with embossing on it, because there's less surfaces to touch together because there's part of it that's raised. So I'm just going to center that on the black piece and press it down well. Then my image is going to go a little off center because I'm going to put a sentiment in the upper left hand side. Next I'm going to punch two holes, and I'm going to put them where I want the bow to go on this, or I'm going to use a knot actually on this card. And I'm going to put some dimensional adhesive on the back of this rose. I'm going to cut a few of these pieces and put them on the different ends, all the little tiny leaves that stick off the ends, so that everything will remain popped. And this is 3M adhesive. I got this giant roll at Amazon. You can pick that up for about 30 bucks-ish for a big roll of that if you use a lot of dimensional. This stuff's really good because it's not super thick. So I really love the height it gives to a card, but not too much. Now you'll see the holes there. I want to make sure I don't have any dimensional adhesive right where the holes go. And had I been thinking before I actually shot this video, I would have tied the ribbon in there prior to sticking it all on, and or not peeled off all these plastic pieces. But since I was not thinking while I was shooting, I'll just talk you through the things that would have made it easier. But I'm sticking it on the card, and next I will be working on the ribbon embellishment. So I'm going to lay down both pieces and cut a length a little longer than the card, so I have plenty to work with. And I'm going to put some score tape down the center. It's just going to hold those two in place. Doesn't have to be the entire width of that faux canvas ribbon, but putting one piece down will be enough to hold it in place so that it maintains the same strip of black on the top and bottom and will remain nice and even. If I just put them down without putting any adhesive between them, they might stay in place depending on how well I adhere them on the back, but they might not. So I'm lining up to make sure that those holes, right where the holes are that I've already punched, will line up with where that ribbon goes through. So I'm lifting these up, and as I said, if I had thought about it, I might not have peeled off those green papers. But this is going to help hold it in place while I trim off the excess ribbon on the ends and glue it on the back. So I haven't put any adhesive underneath the front other than holding them down, those two little pieces, with the dimensional adhesive that's on the back of the rose. So that's going to stay in place really well, and all that will be covered when we put it on the card base. So I'm cutting another piece of the ribbon, the faux canvas, and I'm poking it through the two holes. I'm going to go down one side and up the other, and depending on the width of ribbon that you use, you may decide you want bigger holes or smaller holes. This is a technique that works with a lot of different things, So I'm just kind of feeding it through there, and cutting it at an angle helps to at least make that process a little easier. This ribbon is very flexible, and I love that about it. So it's not like grosgrain that can be really stiff and tear the paper. This stuff just bends really nicely. So just working it into place where I want it to be, and I'm going to tie a very simple knot. And if I had put this underneath of that ribbon or underneath of the image and then poked up the two ends, there just would have been a lot more potential for a bigger knot in that spot. So the fact that I'm only running it through those two little holes means I can control how large that knot is and make it so that it's going to be a lot easier to get through the mail. So I'm just going to fluff that into the way that I want it. If you have ends, you can always stick them down with glue dots if you'd like, and adhering it onto the card base. So here's the finished card, and I just love how it turned out. It's really stark contrast and yet lots of fussy cutting and detail, and I just love this technique with the ribbon. I use this quite a bit on my cards. Thank you so much for taking a moment to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button down below. You can hit subscribe and leave a comment for me as well down there. And you can also click right here if you'd like to go see the coloring portion of this video.